Hi. Today we're going to talk about doing a clutch replacement on a '03 zx6r. But this is just, pretty generic stuff for any clutch. First off, obviously I have mine all taken apart, but just to get the cover off, you're going to want to take out all these bolts, and then you got these two pins here. Um, to me, it looks like they are part of the housing. They may or may not come out separately. I don't really know. Um, yeah. So, anyways, you're gonna have all these plates in here, right? These are my old ones, right? All of these. I believe it's got 9 friction plates, 8 steel plates, right? Uh, and then on top of the plates, you're gonna have this cover, clutch basket cover. I don't really actually know what it's called. That'll sit over top of this, right? And then over top of that, you'll have all of these clutch springs. You're going to want to take these off in a star pattern. Actually, over here and then over here. Right? Sorry, I'm looking through my camera and trying to do this. So you're going to take them off in a star pattern, and you're going to take them off slowly, all right? So what I did is I did one rotation, one rotation, one rotation, one rotation, one rotation, one rotation. Same thing, just kept redoing it in a star pattern over and over until this was loose and came off, right? So then on this, you're going to want to pay attention to make sure that if there's any washers or spacers inside here, to make sure that they all get put back in order. Yeah, so that's how you take it apart. Now, what I was told is if you're going to replace one, you're going to replace all of these. If one's bad, more than likely all of these are bad. So anyways, how the clutch works is I believe it's this outside ring. I know it's the outside ring. So this piece here, I know these are the bad ones. So this turns, right? For those of you that don't know, this turns. And these have these grooves that these clutch plates slide into. They slide in there, and that's these friction plates. These are the friction plates. They turn. These steel plates slide in, and they grab onto the center shaft, center gear shaft, whatever you want to call it. And when you let the clutch out, these springs press this up against everything, and they become tight, and they turn as one. Right, when you pull the clutch out, you disengage it. This pulls apart, and it pulls off, and these all come apart, or they just very slightly rub against each other, and it's a wet clutch. So they're just going to very lightly touch each other, or they're going to completely disengage to the point where they will no longer be touching. When I watched videos, it said, be careful of how you take these apart. This specific model is not super caring on how you take this out. These just kind of come out. And as long as you go friction plate, steel plate, friction plate, steel plate, you're going to be fine. You're going to notice there's these grooves in here. It does not matter how they go in. This is my first clutch that I've done, and it says you want to soak them. I obviously didn't have a lot of oil, but you want to soak them in oil ahead of time. So these have been soaking. These have been soaking for like 30 minutes or so. I think some people say you should do a couple hours. Others say few minutes. It doesn't, from my knowledge, it doesn't matter that much. It's not a huge thing. I was told from my buddy who owns a small engine shop that as long as they're lubed up some before they go in, you should be fine. So, like I said, friction, steel, friction. And these grooves on this specific model, I don't know if it matters for other models. This specific model, it does not matter where these grooves go. And you're just going to keep doing that. Steel. I was also told that these steel ones don't need to be lubed up, for those of you that are curious. And the reason why you lube these up is because if you don't, these are wet clutches, right? So these friction plates, they don't get enough lube on them to disengage. What my buddy was saying, if you don't take these and lube them up, he said if you lube up both the friction and clutch plate, he said you should be fine to do about 20 minutes or so. But he said maybe do a little bit longer if you're not going to lube them both up. And let them sit momentarily. So he says he likes to let them sit for a couple hours before he starts up the bike. He also says doesn't care too much about the Loctite length after you do that. But anyways, so says if you're just gonna leave them sit for a little bit and you lube them both up, it should be fine. But if you don't do that, he says they'll kind of lock together and they don't want to come apart. So he says if you lube them up, they might be a little tight at first. So even though we do this, you run the risk of not run the risk. You may have so it doesn't want to disengage right away, and all it is these plates they're just kind of sticking together. He says, which is completely normal, I guess. It's normal for them to kind of stick, and it might take a couple engages and disengages of the clutch to get them working properly again. So we get all these on. Get one more. All right, we got them all on. Clean up our mess on the floor. Wipe my hand off. Wipe all this down. And you want to put this cover on and let everything just drop out, because who cares? So I guess now that this happened, I'll show you how this goes together. First, it's going to be the washer. Then it'll be my bearing. Then spring. Then it's that. This has to go on a certain way. So I go to put it on. See how it rocks back and forth like that? You don't want that. That's wrong. So I just turn it to the next hole. Still rocks. Turn it to the next hole. See? It no longer rocks. Or it rocks, just not as bad. So if I go back here, see, it's got a lot of play. And oh, that one's actually snug. So I might have been in the wrong spot at first. So then we come back to here, try to get it tight. It rocks a bunch. No matter what I do, where I put it, it rocks. So I go to here. See, now she locks in. She's nice, tight, snug. It matters. If I come back one, see, I can move it back and forth, but it's always going to rock no matter where I put it. Look at that. Huh? Nice, snug. That's how you want it, right? So it matters where that goes. If you don't put it in the right spot, which I didn't do the first time I touched this, it will not, it'll be too loose, and you won't be able to disengage it. Then you're going to want to put some Loctite on these. Just put them in here. And you do that. Same thing here. I currently don't have Loctite, so what I'm going to do is just put these in like this. Because I got this all ripped apart right now. And then I realized I didn't have Loctite. So I'm just going to put these in a couple threads at a time. Just a couple threads. So that nothing falls out. And you're going to want to tighten these down equally. All right, and then I believe, where's my? So then you're going to want to torque it down to, I think it's 8.5 foot-pounds. I forget how many foot-inches it was. So you just tighten these down evenly. And then you're going to want to make sure you scrape all this off. I haven't done that yet. You're going to replace the gasket. That's like $20. And then when this won't go on because these springs are sitting out too far. But so like when this goes on, right, this piece, you can pull it out some, right? You should be able to get these to line up. Like I said, mine's not going to go on. So this piece should go on, and you should be able to slide it right down, right? It's got this grooved piece right there. So if you get that facing out like that, this will slide over top. That piece will slide over top of this, and then it'll lock on. Make sure that this is at the right spot, otherwise this will sit too far out, and it can pull this out way too far, and you'll never get that clutch tight enough. It'll let this will just sit out too far, and then it'll be too loose. Right, like I said, this isn't gonna go on right now. I don't have Loctite, so I can't get this together. I'm just gonna throw a rag over this section tonight. Tomorrow I'm gonna go pick up some Loctite and get this done. Get this on, and then you'll get that on. You'll get your cable on. I'll make another video about that, how to adjust your cable and everything. And then you'll get that all on. You'll get new oil in here, new filter. You're going to start your bike up for the first time. You're just going to leave it idle for a little bit. Let this spin, right? Let this go through the oil. Let it spin, catch oil, and just let them kind of work their magic. And like I said, the first couple times you go to engage this clutch, it might bog down the engine and stuff like that, even though you're disengaging this. They might be grabbing a little bit. But then after that, you should be fine. Yeah. And then, I don't know, I always tighten everything down in a star pattern. So do however you feel, but I feel like the star pattern is what I just feel that's the most natural thing. That's what I always do. Yeah. Hopefully I can make some more cool videos and help you understand more things. I'm doing a lot of work to this bike, so hopefully we can come up with, I will do more walkthroughs. Anyone got any questions on more things they want elaborated on, I can go through and do that. Maybe how to hook up clutch lever, I'll do that when I do the adjustment on that. Battery, I guess. I don't know if anyone knows how to get to the battery. I can do how to access your battery. Probably should have did a how to do a sub cage bolt on. Sub cage bolt on pretty easy. How to do a 12 bar bolt on scrape plate. We'll do a front cage. How to do that. We can do a walkthrough on the airbox, stuff like that. But yeah, so hopefully we can get more in depth on some things that some people may want to see. I got a pretty well lit shop, and hopefully I've watched many videos and I didn't see exactly what I needed, and a good enough demonstration on this clutch. I felt I should make this, and there's a lot of people doing poorly lit garage videos on this stuff. So I got a well-lit garage. I'm gonna try to make some videos and help some people out. And this is a pretty common clutch thing. So yeah,